add to your coverage here a brief moment, this is really the first reaction from members of Congress, especially members of, as you pointed out, the all-important Intelligence Committee. We have Mike Quigley, the Democrat of Illinois, with us from Capitol Hill, and as luck would have it, next to him is Chris Stewart, the Republican from Utah. Gentlemen, thank you very much for agreeing to talk to this. We're all reacting to this same breaking news. Congressman Stewart, since you're the majority Republican, you can go first. Your reaction to not just the appointment of a special counsel, but this particular man.
Yeah, you know, I actually think it's a good idea. I've been saying for a while, as a member of the committee, in fact, I had discussions with other Republican committee members this morning, you know, this may be the best way forward for us. And hey, Brian, one of the reasons I've worried about that was because there's a lot of important things still going on in the world. There's North Korea, there's the aggressiveness of Vladimir Putin in eastern Ukraine, a whole list of other things that I'm afraid we've been distracted with as we've spent so much time on this one issue.
And Congressman Stewart, your understanding now is the work of your committee in this area, do you just cart your files and what you've learned across town to wherever Mueller sets up shop?
You know, I would suppose that's the case, but honestly, this is just so new that I don't think we know the answer to that yet. We're going to facilitate any way we can. Obviously, we want this to be done as quickly as we can. I think the American people want it to be done as quickly, so we'll help in any way that's appropriate.
Congressman Quigley, the reaction from the other side of the aisle, the minority party, the Democrats.
Yeah, evidence that bipartisan cooperation and agreements can exist. I completely agree with my colleague. There's critical work to be done. I think there's a cloud that makes it difficult, and the fact that this is now taken out of the hands of any reasons to question it, a good person, I think, chosen for this.
Another way to put it, Congressman Quigley, Congress can concentrate on things congressional, knowing that all the while Bob Mueller will staff up. He will be given a budget. They will get the benefit of anything your committee has gathered, the Senate side, Justice, FBI.
That's clearly our intention, that he has the resources necessary to do a proper investigation. At the same time, our investigation is back on track. We're having hearings, we're reviewing documents, and we're moving forward interviewing witnesses.
Congressman Stewart, what's your advice for how the president, how the White House staff should react to this, heading into their first big overseas trip?
Well, you know, it's far be it for me to give this president political advice, right? But I think, you know, this is something that the American people are going to appreciate. I do think, you know, Mr. Quigley and I, sitting on the Intel Committee, that's a bipartisan committee. It always has been. We try to do that. Part of the reason is we can do it behind closed doors. We don't have cameras in our face all the time. It allows us to do the work that we think is so important. And I think the president should take much the same view. This will allow him to move forward, knowing that there's an investigation going forward that will get to the bottom of this. And I think it will do that hopefully very quickly, and allows him to concentrate on the work that he needs to do as well.
And I'd only add, stop
yes.
tweeting, let the investigation take its course, and do your normal work.
We know you keep secrets for a living on the Intelligence Committee, but now it can be told, did either or both of you know this was coming at 6 o'clock Eastern Time today?
No clue.
No, we didn't know. In fact, I found out just when we came on the air with you. I've been busy with some other folks, so it's very new to me.
And Congressman Stewart, is another way to put what you said at the top of our interview, the fact that this was getting kind of untenable and getting unwieldy and threatened to take attention away from everything else government or the administration's trying to do?
Yeah, I mean, just that was my view, that there were other very important issues that I don't want to say they didn't get the attention they deserved, but it became difficult for us to spread our time and our attention to those other important issues. And frankly, it absorbed everything that the media talked about. It absorbs much of the conversations here on the Hill. I'm sure the same thing is true in the White House. And I think this is a positive step.
I say non-defensively, Congressman Stewart. I did note you were tough on the news media earlier. Is it fair to ask now, however, that without a robust news media, we wouldn't be in this position where we are tonight?
Well, I certainly agree with that, and I think the media has a responsibility to report on these kind of stories. My point before was I just felt like the rhetoric was so over the top. And, Brian, I think you and I could probably agree with that. There were some things that were reported as fact that turned out not to be. There were things reported that just didn't have the importance, yet you would think it was the end of the world kind of thing. I'm just hoping for a little bit of balance on that, something with a little bit more, the substance actually matches some of the rhetoric.
And Congressman Quigley, before we send this conversation back to Greta, one more question to you. So many people were next expecting, and I'm sorry about the vote buzzers going off, so many people were expecting to see James Comey raise his hand, get sworn in, and give his side as he turned over perhaps memos. Do you think that will now no longer happen before your committee or the Senate side?
Oh, no, I fully anticipate that will take place. I think, again, you've seen bipartisan requests for that. I think you'll see it in open and closed sessions. And I think you'll see it in the House and the Senate. It's the right thing to do. There's still a lot of information the former director can share.
Here we are 23 minutes into this latest breaking story. Our thanks to Congressman Mike Quigley, Democrat of Illinois, Congressman Chris Stewart.